Hey guys, what's going on tonight? Hope you all are doing well and had a great weekend. I wanted to make a different type of video tonight. This is going to be my dream Joe Burrow rookie card collection. It'll be a top 10, complete with prices, population counts, etc. You know, everybody's going to have their own, his or her own top 10 of a player that he or she collects. So this is by no means a definitive top 10. Most of these cards I cannot afford. You probably will not be able to afford. Maybe someday, though, we will be able to. I don't know. Um, but this is sort of just an aspirational thing that, you know, if money were no object, what would be my top 10 Joe Burrow rookie cards? And this is, of course, because I PC Joe Burrow. So, you know, maybe this gives you an idea for a grail card that you may want to save up for. So I'm going to go in order from least expensive to most expensive. All these cards are cards that I find aesthetically pleasing, and it just so happens that they're all really, really expensive. Um, I guess because I have expensive taste. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Number one, we have a 2020 Prism Purple at a 125. So all the pictures in this are going to be PSA 10s because if it were my choice and I could afford them, I would go for PSA 10s. So this, of course, is out of this past year's Prism. Purple out of 125. Why purple? I just really like the color purple. I think when I was a kid, I probably thought it was a girl's color, like my 4-year-old does. He thinks purple and pink are girls' colors, but I try to tell him, you know, purple is the color of royalty. So Joe Burrow will be royalty eventually, hopefully. There are only 9 of these that have graded out as a PSA 10. For reference, I did not check the Beckett pop counts, so there may be some 9.5 floating around out there. But last sold on this, 2,800 bucks as a PSA 10, 680 raw. So if you're interested in getting a raw one, you know, could be worse. I think that's not a bad deal for a numbered card like that. I think I paid about 550 for a raw Blue Wave Burrow, which is at a 199. So 680 raw, that's really not too bad. And if you're wondering, that Blue Wave is at PSA right now. So my first pick would be Purple Prism. You know, I'm not a huge fan of Prism, but you know, I think I need to include, you know, at least one card, one base card or parallel of the base from Prism. Number 2, Downtown, and this is the optic version. Now, the paper Donruss set, they have an optic as well, but you know, I'm sorry, they have a Downtown as well, but the optic is on Optichrome stock and is shinier and nicer. I like what they did this year with the Downtowns. In 2018, they had the laser effect, and in 2019, they had the hyper effect. This year, it's just that silver prism effect. It's a lot cleaner design. The downside is that they printed a lot more of them, so you're going to see a lot more of them. However, right now, the pop on this is only 17. I think there's a lot of surface defects with optic in general this year, so you're not going to see quite as many 10s in the optic set. Last sold $3,450 as a PSA 10, but only $1,079 as a PSA 9. And they're going raw 900 to 1,000. So I do not understand why people pay. They pay PSA 9 prices when they're buying raw. I guess there's that eternal optimism of getting a 10, but you know your situation, know your card. This is the card I'll probably look to pick up in a 9 at some point, just because I don't think the value is there, honestly, in saving up for a 10, given the likely long-term pop count on this. Up next, we have another insert, which I actually already have. I have the PSA 9, though. There's only 13 10s, and that 13 represents the combined 2 KABOOMs. So if you're unfamiliar, KABOOM for the rookies, at least for Burrow and the QBs, has two KABOOMs for each player. So there's one of Burrow in a white jersey, one of him in a black jersey. and one has 610s, one has 710s, so I just combined them because the prices are about the same, and I don't really see a preference in the jersey for buyers. So I have this one, the white away jersey, I guess. 38.50 on the PSA 10. That's expensive. 1200 raw. I bought the 9 for about 14.25. So I would take that any day over buying a raw, just because there are a lot of 8s, 8.5s floating around. So this is a card that I may try to bump up to try to trade into a 9.5 at some point. Back at 9.5, that is. But the KABOOM is just one of my favorite inserts. It has that sort of comic book effect to it. And one thing I forgot to mention with the downtown, why I like that card, is just because it has attributes of that particular player's city that he lives in, and there's just sort of an affiliation, with team culture or with the city that I think brings everything together, the player with the city, and I really like that. It's almost like a team card rather than a player card. But back to the KABOOM. KABOOM, I love the sort of in-your-face graphics, and I love the shine to it. It looks great in person. A card I really wanted to get. So moving on here to number 4, I had to have one for my favorite set, Optic, other than the downtown insert. And Black Pandora is probably the best parallel within Optic. So why not go for the on-card auto? If you're not getting a Contenders auto, or you're not getting one of the higher end autos, I think Optic rated rookie autos are the best because they are on card. And Select and PRIZM do not have on card autos. So I think that's what sets them apart. Now, you can get a Black Pandora Burrow without the auto, and there's 25 of those, and then there's 25 autographed copies as well, but only 4 PSA 10s on the autographed copies. And the only one sold for just over 4,800 bucks. So a big card for sure. Black Pandora is sort of like the tie-dye of Select. The tie-dye of Optic. Tie-dyes sell really well for Select, and Black Pandora seems to be the most desired parallel among the Optic parallels. So I think I would have to go with this one if I were to pick an Optic card. My purple PRIZM was my parallel for PRIZM. This would be my parallel for Optic, and throw in an auto for good measure. Number 5, we've got the elusive Zebra PRIZM. This is a field level. So this year's Select printed 4 levels: Concourse, Premier, Club, and Field. And in that order, decreasing in frequency. And the Zebra has long been the case hit, and so the odds of getting a Burrow Zebra field level are infinitesimal. This, as you'll note, is not the die cut version. This is the hobby only. The die cut was a lot more printed this year. You had a lot of Zebra die cuts, and I think that does not mirror the actual zebra population. I think the reason they chose the zebra effect was to, show that zebras in the wild are becoming increasingly more rare over the decades, and so, this is supposed to be a really rare card. But needless to say, the field level zebra non-die cut 10 has only a pop count of 4, and I could only find one sold, and that was for $5,600. So a big card. Certainly you're baking in a lot of risk by buying this kind of card, hinging it. In any of these cards, really, if you're paying this much for a card of Joe Burrow, even though I have a ton of faith in him, it's certainly risky. So these are just aspirational. I would probably not buy one of these if I had $5,600 to spend, but it's a fun exercise nonetheless. So up next is another card from Select, and that is the XRC. This is actually from 2019 Select. So if you're unfamiliar with Select, you can get redemptions. They're called XRCs. They're redemptions for the following year's rookie class. So in 2019, you would have had to get a QB1 XRC tie-dye to get this card because Burrow was the QB1 selected. There's only 2 of them graded out as PSA 10s. I could not find a picture of one. This is just the one that comes encased from Panini with the Panini sticker. Last sold raw, $1,913. I wanted to get an estimated value sort of to slot it in here. So this is what I figured it'd be about 6,000, and the reason was a Herbert tie-dye PSA 10 XRC sold for $11,000, and the regular Burrow XRC goes for about 54-ish% of the price of the Herbert XRC PSA 10. So I just took that 11,000 and multiplied it by 0.54 to get 6,000 as a prospective value. But the tie-dye is, along with the zebra and one other parallel on this list, those are 3 great select parallels. I love the dragon scale and the cosmic as well. Those are, that's why I love select so much, are those 5 parallels. But I think XRC, the very first rookie card from a big set, is sort of a must-have, and if you can get it in the tie-dye, that is even more of a aesthetic reason to do so. So that is number 6, the Select Joe Burrow XRC tie-dye. Numbers, and that's number to 25. I did not indicate that here. Number 7, going back to Select, why not? The Tiger Prism. This is the elusive Tiger Prism. These are only found in first off the line boxes. They are case hits like the zebra, but only in the first off the line. And there's only one of these. And ironically enough, it ends on auction tonight. I said only one sold here, $9,300 PSA 10. It ends in about 30-40 minutes, so it could be more than that, could exceed $10,000. A PSA 9 sold for $7,000. So I think here, obviously the big pull is that the tiger stripe is the team logo. You can see it. I mean, it perfectly matches the helmet, and the striping on the thighs of Burrow in this picture. I mean, if there were a card made for a Bengal, it would be this one. So I would certainly prefer this to any other select card if I had my druthers. But insanely expensive, $10,000 for a concourse. I think it's a pop 0 on the Tiger Field level. And there was a Premier PSA 10 that sold for $9,600, and I think that's a pop 1 or 2. And then a club level raw sold for just over $4,000. So you can see how coveted the Tiger Prism is for Joe Burrow specifically. And obviously I think it is just a very, very sharp looking card, and would love to have that in my collection. Up next, number 8, we've got Color Blast. So this is the 3rd insert and the final insert on the list. If you're unfamiliar, this is a Prism insert that falls 1 in every 10 cases. And there are only 13 PSA 10s of the Joe Burrow. Last sold $11,700 for a PSA 10. That is crazy. $6,100 for an SGC 10. I think that's a good buy. And when I say good buy, obviously if you have the money, if it's graded by SGC and they're a reliable grading company, I should say, then certainly you got a shot to crack it and submit it at least to Beckett for a 9.5 if you dare. And then they go for about $4,700 raw. The only thing I don't like about this card is that it's horizontal. Obviously, it doesn't look quite as cool as a lot of the vertical cards, but given its rarity and the set that it's in, I think it's got to be on here, and it's a great looking card. I heard on the Card Talk podcast recently, the guy from Panini mentioned an unsubstantiated rumor that a guy was thinking about a baby shower, or a gender reveal party, sorry, when creating this card, sort of the pops of pink and blue, that come out of the balloons. And I can see it looking at the card now, but either way, amazing design, so popular that it got a black variant in Obsidian, which does not cost quite as much, but Color Blast insert. I love inserts. I love rare inserts, so got to have 3 of those on the list. All right, we're already at $11,700, so the next 2 are even more expensive. Number 9, this is the National Treasures True RPA. As you'll see here, it is actually the digital version, the blockchain, but this gives you an idea of what it looks like. The reason we don't have a picture of it yet is because it is a redemption. It was a redemption if you rip National Treasures, so the pop is 0, but the redemption has sold for $13,000. So we haven't gotten a good look at that. We haven't gotten any graded, but as you can imagine, the vertical RPA with a really nice patch, numbered to 99 or less. This is the most sought after RPA in the hobby. So I would love to have this. It's the only RPA on the list. I'm not a huge RPA guy unless the patch is really nice and it's not a sticker auto. So, and you only get a few of those, maybe 5, 6 across the board each year. So this would definitely be on my list. But again, you know, the cost is just insane. Unless you just get lucky and pull one. These are reserved for the biggest of ballers. So what is the final card? You guys probably know it is the Cracked Ice auto from Contenders, number 22. The most sought after autograph, non-RPA autograph in the hobby, no question. The Contenders auto is big, but the Cracked Ice is just massive. People love the Cracked Ice. It is a pop 2, and believe it or not, goes for more than the True RPA and National Treasures, although our data is a little lacking because we have no 10s. So I'm sure a 10 National Treasures RPA would go for more than a 10 Cracked Ice. But right now we've got $17,000 as the only sale, and there is another for sale, I think currently on eBay listed for $35,000 as a buy it now. So that was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. That is about $77,000 worth of cards across those 10. So certainly not something that I will ever be getting to spending on cards, but a fun exercise nonetheless. And I'm interested in what you guys would put as your top few cards for your PC of a player. Leave that in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, etc. And I hope to do more of these videos. I think they're really fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. So we will see you soon. Thanks for tuning in, guys.